Good afternoon, everyone. I hope my slide is visible to all. Let's start. So, yeah, Akshita is there. Fine. As I recollect, we were there in HTML code element. We were discussing about this topic. We discussed about Q tag as well as block code. I hope both the shifts are parallelly running. Still waiting. Can anyone recollect till where both the shifts have been done? Anyone from first shift as well as from the second shift, please respond. My voice is not clear. Is it audible now? Can anyone remind me from both the shifts till where we have done? Have both the shifts done with this Q tag, code tag? We have completed till strong. This is from second shift. What about first shift? First shift members? First of all, have the link be shared with first shift? Is the link shared?
Sir,
Okay, one is there from first shift, fine. Sanjita, link has been shared, fine. So without wasting much time, I would like to proceed further here. Let's move ahead from here. Still many are just signing in. Don't need it now. Okay, fine. So just as a recap, we have got site tag, which was used for making the name of the author to appear in a slanted order, italic order. As well as we have got for quotation to be made, two separate tags. One was uh, Q tag, which was having a facility to mention the whatever quotation message you are going to put in double quotes. As well as we have got another one which was block quote, and it is going to give whatever message we have in a separate block, and that separate block will have some indentation on the left part, and it will have a gap from the above passage and a below passage. So these details we have seen earlier. Now let us move further ahead. First from blank, and just as a recap, since many have told that we have already done with strong, we have got strong, we have got emphasis, we have got bold. And I have clearly distinguished between what is strong, bold, and emphasis. If something is going to have, some text is going to have some highlighting from the normal text, then we will try to make it little bold. That doesn't mean that the text is going to have some significant logical meaning behind it. For example, I want to just make a change here. Just to say that this strong is a tag, I have kept a color change here. Similarly, if I want to keep this title different from the remaining text, I have made it as bold. But that doesn't mean that this title is going to have a logical reasoning behind it. Same way, if I have to say that something is going to have an impact, logical impact on something, then I will be using two tags. One is strong, another is emphasis. Strong will try to keep a logical meaning behind it. When the web browsers read that particular text, they'll read it with a significant change in the pitch of our voice. Same way, emphasis is given. If I want to stress on something, then I will say that, okay, that's there in emphasis. So these things were there. For example, warning. Warning is a strong thing, whereas what is a warning meant for? On what I am stressing? Warning can be kept in a strong, whereas it's very dangerous to be near the chemicals. So that very dangerous to be near the chemicals is what I need to stress on. Just stressing on warning doesn't mean what I want to say. If I have to say that I am warning you, I have to say what I am warning you about. So, what I'm going to warn you about is going to be kept in emphasis, whereas the warning will be kept in strong. So, we have got three things here: one is bold, strong, and emphasis. Then, coming next slide, we have got citation tag. Citation tag is very simple. If I want to put some data which has been acquired from a external source, then I can just mention from where I have taken that particular data as a reference. That reference will act like a authentication to what I am trying to depict in my web page. So, for example, I have kept some message here in the purple line, and that message from where I have taken or is its reference number. If I want to put it, then I will use a citation tag. And this citation tag was similar, much similar to the previous one. If you go back, can you see here? Cite. The same tag is used. Here we mentioned what was the author who quoted this particular uh, message. But here, in the cite tag, the same can be used to refer to from where we have acquired the data. For example, the data has been acquired from a standard Indian standard organization of so and so number, some number. So, four members. So it's very simple. If you want to just put a message to just say that this particular uh, text or a content have been acquired from so and so place, then we can use a citation tag, and that citation tag is just cite and represents our reference to a creative work, whatever work we want to do. So in that reference, you can keep the URL from where you acquired, as well as you can put some styling to it. For example, here I have applied a styling. Automatically, it got applied when I mentioned it site tag. So that slanting of text and appearance in a different format than that of normal also be done by using a CSS font style. So it depends on you which one you want to use. But if you want to give reference quotation to a quotation, then make use of site tag instead of using a CSS. So coming on next, we have got two tags. One is another is small. Big tag will not make any uh, huge impact as that of bold. to our text. For example, here you can see the HTML big tags size, and you can see large is written little different than that of the previous ones. It is going to appear with a light change in its. Can you see this A as well as this A? This is a normal text, whereas this large has been kept in a big tag. So this big tag will make some enhancement to the already existing text. Whatever text we are going to specify, it is going to make it a little bigger than normal text. Same way, a small will make it smaller than the normal text. Can you see the difference between this small and this small? There is a small difference between them, slight difference. So still some are. Let's see one example. Uh, Paragraph, and in this paragraph I have got some the HTML big tag specifies whatever is written here. Big tag specifies, and to make this text appearing in little larger than the normal text, we'll keep it in big. So after that, I want to keep this one as a small. So I have kept it in small tag. So the purpose of big and small is very simple. You have to just them in big tag and small tag to whatever text you want to make as big and small. But apart from that, you have got two things here. One is contact with a name appearing with a, and this name is blue colored with the underline. And if in practical web page, if I hover my cursor over here, it will become a clickable part. More, my voice is not clear. I don't know what is the problem with my voice. The network is proper. I'm using my mobile data. Is it fine now? Is my voice audible now? Someone kept a message that my voice is not clear. Okay, then I'm ignoring that message and let us move ahead. It's not clear. What's going on here? Still not clear. I think there is a huge signal problem going on here. Maybe because of that, the voice is not getting clarity. 69 participants are there, and I don't want to. Hello, good afternoon, sir. Sir, I'm in online class within 50. Okay, sir. Within 20 minutes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I got some specifying that it's clear. Hmm? So let's proceed. We have got over here one contact written, and there is some name, Homer Simpson, and this is underlined with a blue color. That means it is a hyperlink, and if I click on that one, it is going to make me to navigate to a different location. And what is the different location where it will make us to navigate? That thing we'll try to see. Then we have got one copyright symbol coming here. Inside circle there is a C which is called as copyright symbol. And then I have written here copyright, some year in which year that copyright was made, and then what is the organization which is holding that copyright. So we'll see now how to introduce these things. What are the tags required to make these things appear? So first and foremost, where do we keep these details? We'll keep these details as the last part of our web page. At the bottom end of our web page, we'll keep this detail so that it is not becoming clumsy and it is not getting mixed up with our actual content we want to communicate with the users. So to keep this at the end, which is footer of our web page, we'll make use of a tag called as footer tag. And if you notice, this is actually the contact, which is address of a particular person, contact of a particular person. So we'll keep it in a tag called as address. And here I have written contact, and I said this is a link, hyperlink, and if I click on it, it will perform certain thing. It will make us to navigate to a different location. Let's see what is that link going to appear. To make any link, we'll be making use of a tag, HTML tag called as anchor tag. Anchor. This anchor, uh, in short, is written as A. This anchor tag is going to have an attribute called as horizontal reference, and this horizontal reference will mention to where we will be navigating. So I need to navigate to mail to this particular person, to send an email to this particular person. So I'm telling navigate to mail to this particular email address at so and so.com, something. And the text on which someone has to click and perform this navigation, sending of email, is this Homer Simpson. So Homer Simpson will be visible on the web page, and if I click on that one, it will make a email client to get opened up so that our email can be sent to so and so email address. So this is what is going to contain hiddenly inside it. So in the web page, we will not be able to see his email address, but it will appear like a hyperlink. If we click that link, it will send an email to that particular person. So I'm closing the anchor tag and then the address. And then you see there is a slight change. Actually, I wanted to show where this small or big will be used. Can you see this C and this C? There is a slight change. This C is lesser than this one. Similarly, O. This O is bigger than this O. This entire thing is written little smaller than the normal text, and that has been introduced by using a small tag. So it reads simple, and I have written copyright so and so whatever message you want to keep till the end, and then close this small. And once our small is closed, we need to already address has been closed. So what is remaining to be closed is footer. Once footer is closed, we will close the body of the web page and then our HTML. So basically what we have learned in this particular program is we have learned three tags over here. One is big, another is small, another one is address tag. Address tag along with footer. So uh, I hope these things have become clear for everyone. Big tag is used for specifying large text. It has become absolute in HTML5 because absolute means taken away from HTML5 version onwards because we don't need it right now. We have got CSS, cascading style sheet, which we'll be learning shortly, which can make all those changes, all those impacts back on it. Similarly, we have got small, we have got this fine print, mouse prints, all those things. Then we have got two things. I think I have already covered it for one of the shifts. Remember for which shift I have covered. One is insert, another is delete. Insert means these two tags are usually used for e-commerce websites and also for those websites which want to track when a content was displayed on the web page and whether that content, uh, whatever content we have kept, is still valid or not. If it is not valid and if it has been removed, at what date and time it was removed, and if something has been kept on the website, at what date and time it was introduced, inserted in the website, we have to keep a track of that. If I want to have the tracking mechanism to be there, then we'll be using insert and delete. So coming on, so coming on for what is the HTML code, let us try to see first the output. I've got to hear something written and it has been scratched off. It has been struck off. And there is something which is underlined. So if something is scratched off, that means it has been removed. If I want to say something which is removed, at what date and time it was removed, I have to capture it to store it somewhere. To store those details, I'll be making use of dill, a dill tag. This dill tag is a short form for delete. This del is going to contain an attribute called as date and time. This date time attribute will contain the date and its time. I did not mention the time, but actually I can mention the entire timestamp over here. And within that delete, I have to mention what is the text which I want to delete. Whatever content which web content which I am trying to delete, I will mention it, and then I will close the del tag. So this entire green line which I have written, green content, will be scratched up. It means the data was there published on the website, but it has been removed. It has become invalidated. So when it was invalidated, I have to keep a track in the background. So keeping a track in the background will be done here in date time attribute. Similarly, if something is introduced for a new purpose in the website, when it was inserted, when it was introduced, it has to be kept a track of. So same date and time, as I told here that we can keep an entire timestamp, here it is. And date with a T timestamp, what hour, what minute, what was the second, and what is the uh, change as per the international scenario. Greenwich time is 000, as well as Indian time from Greenwich will be little 5 hours more. We have got certain changes, international standard changes. So those entire timestamp can be added. So this green block, two lines, are the ones which we are inserting in the website. So just to attach at what date and time something was deleted or inserted, we'll be making use of del tag or insert. So I have kept here a few points which you have to go through. One specifies what the insert is, what is delete is, another says what are the attributes associated with. Along with date and time, you can mention what is the site from where you have inserted this particular text. So coming next, we have got bold, we have got italics, and we have got underline. These things are very simple. If you want to keep any text in a bold format or italics format, then you can keep it using bold and italics, D and I tags. For example, here I have to write text level. This level is appearing in bold. So to make it bold, I have kept both of them in B. Similarly, HTML is coming in bold. So I've kept it in B tag. For italics, I have to keep it in I tag. Similarly, if I want to underline something, then I have to put that particular text or content inside U tag. That's a very simple thing, but all of these have become outdated. Why I'm saying outdated is because prior to CSS functionalities, prior to introduction of CSS and CSS becoming very familiar, we used to worry with each and every tag, and we used to introduce all the stylings with the help of tags. Now with the CSS becoming very powerful, we are depending more and more upon our CSS rather than that of HTML tags. When we come to CSS, we'll be coming to know what exactly they mean. Then we have got sub tag, super tag, then center tag, and string tag. People are joining now. If you have a look here in the output, I have written H2O. Normally, if we type any text, this 2 will appear beside H rather than appearing little downwards. So this difference, this lowering of the 2 can be done using a subscript tag. Subscript tag. Its short form is sub. Similarly, if I want to keep something on top of it, like for example, here can you see there is a jump in the text superscript. For example, x square. The 2 will go above x. So for that purpose, we will use superscript, subscript, superscript. Similarly, if I want to keep some text in the center of my web page, then I can make use of center tag. And as we have seen earlier, we used del tag to delete the items, and with the del, we introduced date and time. But suppose date and time is not very important for us. We are least bothered about whether when it was deleted or inserted. We just want to strike off the text. Then we can use strike tag. So how are those things going to come? As I said, 2 should be kept in sub tag and it should be kept in super tag. Then strike. This thing has been kept in a striked order. Students are still joining. So strike is going to work like that. Now, along with this uh, 4 tags, I want to introduce 2 very important tags which are nowadays being used. One is instead of strike, we have got something called as S. S is used mainly in commercial websites, in e-commerce websites. For example, they don't want to project to the people, those who are browsing their website, that the product is not available within their portal. They want to say that the product was available, but it got consumed, it got sold out. So if they want to strike it off, that it is not available, and they have to write beside it as sold out. So to have that particular feature, we'll be making use of S. So here I have read, can you see there are 2 times I have written. First one was because of strikes, second is because of sold out. So there is a very slight difference between strike and S. Just like strike and delete was there, similarly there is a slight difference between strike and S. If you want to mention a product was there and it got sold out, you will be making use of S instead of strike. And here I have got paragraph. And one more thing along with it I want to introduce is div tag, division tag. What paragraph does is it will try to introduce, suppose this is the paragraph. This text is has been kept in P from here to here. So what it is going to introduce is it is going to introduce a line gap above the matter that I am going to keep and below also. So this gap making the text appear as a separate block, as a separate paragraph, is being handled by the tag called as paragraph tag, P tag. Same way, if I want to divide the page into multiple sections, I will be making use of a tag called as div tag. In each section, I can have separate coloring. In each section, I can have separate styling to be applied. So for all those purposes, we will be using a div tag. So I have just to introduce the div tag, I have written here div style. I want to apply certain styling to it. What is the style that I want to apply is I want all the text alignment to be in center. So you can see here all the text is aligned in the center. We have used center tag, but that center tag was only keeping these 2 lines. This text will appear in center and as well as so will this paragraph. So first occurrence of these two is because of center tag. But from here onwards, whatever is the occurrence is because of div tag. So in div tag, I have moved it to center, and it has applied here. Same setting, same styling can also be done with P tag. It's an alternative. So P style text align center. I have kept the same thing back over here. Can you feel any difference between this one and this one? No, there is no much difference. Here visually we can see that there is a line gap, space gap. Yes, this space gap is introduced because I have used here p tag before div. I have kept this line inside a p paragraph. But whereas here I have not introduced a paragraph, I have just kept a br tag, break line tag. I wanted you to concentrate, and that's why I have willingly kept this particular thing. But practically speaking, there is not much difference. There is logical difference. If you want to split the entire web page into sections, you will be using a div tag. But if you want to just introduce a paragraph in the web page, you will be using a p tag. So there is two things with each tag. One is physical change that the paragraph that the tag will do. Second is logical reasoning why we are using that particular tag. If we consider the div and the paragraph, they are going to give the almost similar physical appearances. But if we talk about the logical reasoning behind why we are using, there is a huge difference between those two categories. So I hope this matter was clear for everyone. So I have kept some theoretical notes for your reference. Please stop the video at this particular moment, pause the video and try to go through it when you are referring back on YouTube. Now coming on for next one, which is going to make a impact on the text styling, how the styling of the text should appear. I have kept various things. I'll go through each of it separately. But for time being, I'll just present everything in front of you so that you can correlate simultaneously. First of all, to interpret the entire thing, I'll go for the here the output, if you observe, it is not written in a normal font style. It is written in a different font style. This difference in font style is introduced by certain tags. And I've written here as a text, you should use CSS font to set the font properties instead of using a font tag. This I will talk about it in detail. Just to give you a glimpse of how the CSS is going to work, I have kept it. Here I have kept a normal font, here I have kept a new font, and you can see at the very bottom corner, I kept one more over here called as menu font, which is very narrower in the width as well as smaller in size. So let's talk about how those things will appear. I'll first start with body tag. So you know what is a paragraph tag. So I want to put some text as a paragraph. So to keep the text, this what is the text that we are keeping? The HTML font tag is deprecated. You should use CSS font to set font properties instead. This is the matter that I want to content that I want to display on the on my web page. But I don't want to put it in a normal font style by default what is being followed by the web browser. I want to keep a different font style than that of the web browser. So what I will do is I will try to make use of font tag. This font tag is going to make a change in the text appearance. So there are two things here. One is face, another is color. Face means in which styling means in which orientation the text should appear, how the text face should look like. For example, if you are using here cursive, it will appear in this particular style. Can you see H is little bit handwritten type of thing. If it's little handwritten, T is little different. But if you want to use normal text as that of relative, can you see this T difference and this T difference? There is a slight difference. Here it is not having any footings like that type of thing. So if you want to make use of any phase, whether it is Times New Roman or Verdana, or whether it is Arial, or whether it is cursive, whatever you want to use, whatever are defined in your system, you can mention over. There are various phases. If you want to go through what are the various font styles, you can just open your MS Word and you can type on which with various fonts. So you need to mention what is that font that you want to use. Now we have got two things here. One is serif, another is sans serif. SANSERIF. Sans serif. Serif means something which is not having any footings to it. Footings in the sense, for example, if you want to see, let's take T, T in the da. This T, if I look carefully, it is going to have two straight lines, one in the above, another in the down. But if you see this T in this bullet point, you can see that the upper line has got some endings, as well as the below vertical line is having a small horizontal line ending. So these endings are called as footings. These footings will not be there in case of serif, but if you use sans serif, those footings will become. So that's a small difference. Similarly, one more difference can we note it? Which one to take? Can you see this D? It's without any upper and bottom footings. But if you see this D, it is with upper and bottom footings. Here there is on the left part there is a footing, on the right part there is a footing. But here if you see there is no footing. So that is because we are using serif. Serif will not introduce any footings, whereas sans serif will introduce footings. So first of all, what is the phase that I want the text to appear? Second is whether I want to make the text to appear in serif or sans serif. Then what should be the color of the text? We have got various coloring methods. First method is to mention what is the exact color that I want to mention. For example, red, black, blue, green. But sometimes you don't want what is the predefined exact green color. You want a variation of the green color. You want a slight change in the green color. So you have got something called as RGB, red, blue, green type of combinations. That RGB, red, green, blue combinations can be mentioned if you know perfectly how much green combination should be there for the color to appear, how much red, all those things. Similarly, one more is there called as hash notations. Hash code for coloring, hash coloring codes will mention what is the code to be written with a hash. Each color has got a specific code. You can find this particular code in the internet, but I'll introduce at the end of the chapter what are the commonly used coloring codes and what is the size in which you want the text to appear. Normally 4 is the normal. If you want to enhance the size, you can increase that particular size. And then next, as I said, you have to use CSS to display it. In the below part, I want to display using CSS. Now to introduce CSS, there are various methods. There are basically three methods. First one is CSS can be written within the HTML document. Second is CSS can be written not mixed in the body. It can be written above the body of the HTML in the head tag. Third one is writing the CSS program separately altogether in a separate file and then linking that file to our HTML file. There are three methods. One is writing the CSS styling within the tag. Second is writing the CSS above the body within the head tag. Third one is writing the CSS altogether in a separate file and then linking that file with our HTML. So here I've tried to introduce something over here. If I go back, if I talk about applying style sheet, applying CSS within the tag, then I can show you one over here. Normally we used to write P paragraph tag, but to apply a CSS to that paragraph tag, to this specific paragraph, suppose there are one, two, three, four, five paragraphs tags are there, 4 or 5 paragraphs tag. But instead of all the paragraph tags I want to apply to this specific paragraph tag, then I'll be using the CSS, inline CSS, by making use of a attribute called as style. Actually, we have done with CSS here itself. I have introduced it here itself so that I have not talked about it because you were very new to CSS. That's why I did not want it to make you confused. But actually, this is a part of CSS. It's very simple. Whatever tag you want to apply the styling for, mention the tag, put a space, mention the attribute name as style. This is fixed style, equal to sign, then in double quotes, what is the style that you want to apply? I wanted to apply that the text alignment should be center. Simple. So ending of the opening tag, and in the closing, there is no requirement for mentioning anything. It's very simple. So CSS, let's get back to our program. That CSS styling was called as inline CSS. First point. Second one is within the web page called as internal CSS. We are mentioning within the web page, but of the body in the header tag. So here I have mentioned here within the head tag, I have mentioned there is a title, and then I have mentioned a style as a tag, not as an attribute. Style as a tag. And then I'm writing what is the style meant for. The style is meant for text, and it is of what type? CSS type. And what is, and now I will try to define the CSS characteristics. Now I will type that there is a style. I'll mention that new with the help of a dot. And within the opening and closing braces, I'll mention what is this new category of style to be applied. I want to make sure that every font is of italic nature, and it is small caps, and it is 14 points or 16 points, and sans serif. It's not normal, it is sans serif. So this new is going, whatever is being mentioned with the new is going to come with this particular styling effect. Okay, similarly, I've got one more style category called as menu. This is my own given words, new as well as menu. You can write anything, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. So I have created one more category called as menu, and in that one, I want the font to be of a